Truckers X TV on air. We are now live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice. In the previous episode, we finished the investigation. We check into the High Priest's house. His wife, who's now a widow, is crazy. And now we're about to go into trial, ladies and gentlemen. Before that, do me a favor right now. Make sure to hit that like button, and your support is greatly appreciated to the channel. So let us begin. Load data. And today's episode, hopefully we can... I think there's only like 2 things that have been going on, but depending on the time limit, like how much text will be given, we'll try to see if we can finish up this first testimony. If not, then we'll have to cut it at some point. High Court, Khura'in, accused lobby, 9:40 a.m. I was able to find inconclusive evidence yesterday, but if I can figure out Lady Kita's motive for threatening the High Priest, then maybe.
Nick, today
Don't look so down, Maya. I'm going to defend you with everything I've got. You would do well to cease this insanity while you still can? Oh, great. As I said yesterday, I'm going to defend my client in court.
Well, know this. You shall not witness a miracle of the sort that occurred last time. The moment she is found guilty, you too will be found guilty of abetting the accused.
I never claimed to be a miracle maker, but I am good at discovering the truth. And unlike miracles, the truth is always waiting to be found.
The truth, you say? Huh. Then it seems you have chosen your fate. This shall be your every last trial.
That's what she said.
Nick?
I'm going to prove you innocent, Maya. You'll see. After all, you have to introduce the Plum Punisher Warrior Neo Trial Room to the folks back home, right? Oh, to cheer her up.
Right! I may be defended this time, but I'll be your side like always, Nick.
Has she gotten taller? Thanks, Maya. I'm just noticing that. This place is tough on lawyers. I'll need all the help I can get. Plus, it's always good to have you on the team. Well, it's time. Let's go. She looks taller. Even though she's like around 22 or something, maybe? Or more? It's been 7 years since the first 3 Ace Attorney games, so let's see. He was 23 or 24, I don't know. I need to look it up. Here we go. Day 1, court is now in session. All rise. Let the trial of my affair begin. Defense is ready, Your Majesty. Huh? Quiet. Can't you see Prosecutor Sadmati is absorbed in silent prayer? Great. The trial's barely started and the judge is already mad at me.
He's very devout for a prosecutor.
Huh? Why is the accused standing over there?
Oh, well...
Your Majesty, in addition to being the accused, she's also my assistant. The accused is your assistant, you say? Very well, then. A criminal does indeed make a fitting partner to a lawyer with defiled soul.
That wasn't very nice.
Yeah, well, bad-mouthing lawyers seem to be a custom sorts in here at Khura'in. I must say, I'm surprised to see you still in Khura'in, Mr. Wright. And even more so to find you in the Hall of Justice once more. I cannot fathom why you would willingly risk your life in yet another trial. The answer is simple, Your Majesty. I am a lawyer, and this is what lawyers do. Although, to be frank, I'd rather be anywhere but here right now.
Such foolishness.
Prosecutor Samadi, are you ready to begin now?
Yes, Your Majesty. The prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay. But first, I promise you both this. I will cast your wicked souls into the fires of hell. Thus shall the soul of the victim attain salvation.
Ha 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 ha! Splendid! I would expect nothing less of you, Prosecutor Sanmari.
Here we go! Here we go again. Welcome to the away game. Here we go again. I think I'll pass on that whole fire and brimstone deal. I thought he said hell. But I'm not surprised by your words or stance considering what Apollo told me about you.
So it was you who instilled that putrid lawyerly guilt within him.
Putrid? What?
He too must soon face the fires, lest his soul be lost to redemption. But I shall send you on ahead, so that he will not be lonely when he arrives.
Sorry, but I'm afraid it won't be that easy. People say I never know when to give up. Nervous, Maya?
A little.
Feels like it's been ages since we stood side by side like this in court.
Too bad I'm defendant.
Don't worry! We haven't lost a case together yet.
You're right. Let's give this everything we got, Nick.
Now, Prosecutor Sanmari, would you please explain the case at hand?
Of course, Your Majesty. Let us begin the last rites of the victim. Maya Fey has been charged with the crime of murder. The victim of her heinous crime was High Priest.
Seriously! We have no idea! Who are we talking about now? People say it's Abbot Inme, the freaking record says trust in me. I don't even understand anymore.
He was conducting the purification rite when he was brutally slain.
And the case of death?
Let us review the victim autopsy report and the crime scene photo, shall we? The cause of death was blood loss from a stab wound delivered to the abdomen. The murder weapon was likely the war-bod dagger, which was used in the rite. However, the weapon has yet to be found, though the scene was thoroughly searched.
A sacred relic used as a tool of murder. The Holy Mother's wrath shall be severe.
The murder itself took place at the height of purification rite. The accused had donned Lady Kita's sacred robes, and the victim was there to offer prayers as the high priest of Khura'ism. During the rite, the victim and accused were the only two at the inner sanctum. Therefore, the only person who could have slain the victim is Maya Fey.
The spring is red.
I must say that does cast a great deal of suspicion upon the accused.
Indeed. Now then, allow me to submit this diagram of the crime scene as evidence in this case.
Inner sanctum diagram added to the court record.
In Khura'ism, slaying a priest is a sin most grave and dreadful. As such, Maya Fey's soul shall be plunged into the lowest level of hell, the hell of tickling.
Tickling?
There, she shall be tickled without end for 5 million years. What the heck?
Hey, yo, before we get started, quick fun story right now. I think it was in high school, and the teacher was saying, I was making a joke about going to hell, and that, I don't remember exactly, but there's, about the guy that walked into hell, the guy that told him about hell, he was told that there's more room. There's more than one room in hell. One is like a normal hell. One is say for example tickling hell. One is freaking whipped to hell. There's more types of whip. There's more types of hell in hell. So it was kind of like a fun story. I don't know remember exactly, but it was that type that they're all terrible in the end. And here I thought the lowest level of hell was the hell of back pain.
I don't remember killing anyone, and I don't have that dagger or anything like that.
As my client stated, she has no memory of the event as described by the prosecution. But more importantly, she had no motive to kill the high priest in the first place.
Objection!
I thought you might say that. Nevertheless, the meaningless prattle of lawyers is utterly ineffectual here in the Hall of Justice. For all will be clear by her benevolence, Refa Padma Khura'in insights. Refa Padma Khura'in, make sure to add that to the text.
So it is and shall be that the Venetian Saints reveals the truth for all to see.
Here we go again.
Bailiff, please show in the royal priestess.
Here we go. Her benevolence insights. Glory to the Holy Mother for this blessed day. As popular as ever, I see.
Rest assured, good people of Khura'in, I will defeat the murderer and her abettor. They shall not escape on their freedom expressed today.
What a joy it has to have the royal priestess back in the Hall of Justice. May the Holy Mother grant us her divine favor.
Yudida, I don't know how to say it. Yudihara Khura'in. What is it, long-lived Khura'in? She sure looks pleased with herself, especially for someone who didn't know what Freedom Express was until yesterday.
Is there something stuck to my face, Barb Head?
No, nothing, your benevolence.
Now then, your benevolence, the Venetian seance, if you please.
Is she gonna do that dance again?
Nina, my robe.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name.
Is she gonna do the
Let the
dance?
eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Or we gonna see that dance again? Oh, we are! Are we gonna do this every time? Yeah, we're gonna go through this dance again? Just show us the cutscene. We don't have to go through a dance scene, woman. Why did they add this mechanic? I mean, if those of you haven't seen the Venetian seance, I'll showcase this. We are given the option to skip it because we already saw it the first time. But I don't know, something about the music is kind of weird right now, but it's trying to get to the good point later on. I got nothing else to say about that. I mean, if we're already seeing it one time and we're already in this video again, might as well skip it, but we're gonna get to the good point of the song. I'll definitely not add that to the freaking thumbnail. I'm gonna show someone's testimony or the division insight, I guess. And took what, about a minute or two? About an entire dance? I think it was a minute. Alright, here we go. Okay, we see Maya. We see the Buddhist. The lantern. The other lantern. We still see Maya. A script. A scroll. He was trembling. Wind. Oh, what the? Incense, footsteps, pain. Oh, what the heck?
The victim's Mitma has spoken. The divination seance is complete.
Great! Another clearly incriminating seance vision.
It could not be any clearer, O foul defense. The accused donned the sacred robes of Lady Kita and then attacked the victim.
Oh, how very terrible it must have been. The figure of Lady Kita lit against the dim lantern light. The scent of incense growing ever more potent as she drew near. One can almost sense the horror Abbott.
Inme! I don't care about the name anymore, I'm just done. The freaking prosecutor said thrust! And you're gonna hear me say the entire freaking episode because I have not. This is all bulk recording right now.
The fact is presented by her benevolence as indisputable. But that wasn't me! Do something, Nick!
I'm working on it. That couldn't have been any clearer. Looks like I'm on for another uphill battle.
The accused committed the vile act during our ancient tradition, the purification rite.
Come to think of it, the Wright's guide explains the multi-part purification rite in detail. You better check in that. The transformation rite. The high priest reads scripture while a priestess dons the robes of Lady Kita. The rite of water. Lady Kita enters the spring, and the high priest purifies her, along with her dagger. The rite of fire. The priestess circles the sacred flames to purify her soul. That makes sense.
Indeed. It would seem that the murder occurred during the transformation rite. The rite dictates that the high priest stand in front of the spring.
In front of the spring?
Therefore, the accused must have been attacking him from the direction of the broken lantern. Well, Bobhead, would you care to object?
Of course! Because I know my client is innocent.
So you say you truly do not know when you are beaten, do you?
I managed to pull it off last time with Albie. I'll just have to do it again.
You were trying to find fault with her benevolence inside yet again? It would seem lawyers are Pokukan creatures indeed.
Look at that, whatever that means. What exactly is Pokukan? Kunan?
Someone who's a real piece of work, so to speak.
They can call me anything they want. The only thing I care about is uncovering the truth.
So Barbhead, are you foolish enough to risk your life for your so-called truth? Because my insights are the truth. To deny them is to willingly dig your own grave.
We've been 20 minutes and now we finally begin. Here we go. The insight. Let's figure out the contradictions. If we have to press forward. I don't think we are allowed to press forward. No! Oh, we can. Oh, we can.
The victim commenced the purification rite by bowing to the lantern and reading a sutra. As the first part, the transformation rite, ended, he lowered the sutra. Suddenly, he heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incense-laden.
Okay, that is definitely a contradiction if that was she was stating.
It was then that the victim felt an intense pain and believed this is when he was stabbed. As his lifeblood spilled over his vision, dimmed, till finally he passed from our world.
I still say he was. Oh, never mind.
That is everything the victim experienced in his final moments.
Diagram shows where Maya and the High Priest were during the rite.
Dressed in the sacred robes of Lady Kita, the accused rushed the victim head-on. The brutal stabbing she perpetrated could not have been any clearer. Yes, it is plain for all to see. No, it wasn't me! A sudden drowsiness came over me during the transformation rite. I didn't even get a chance to put on Lady Kita's robe. You waste our time with such meaningless statements, accused. You cannot explain away the truths revealed by the royal priestess' divine insight. Oh? How did you end up finding contradictions last time?
What we did. The disease's final memories include all 5 senses.
Oh, you mean those words that appear in the pools of soul? It looks to me like bigger the word, the stronger the sensation was to the victim.
Yeah, that's how it looked to me too. He saw the Kira, he smelled the incense, he heard footsteps, he felt pain. What did he taste? That's why I tried to point out mistakes in Rafa's insights the last time.
So there could be a contradiction between what about
Inme felt in her insights, huh? You got it, and I'm going to find them this time. Should I check how to point out contradictions in Rafa's insight? Let's check. I can switch between Rafa's insight using blah blah. This is just to double check on what I'm needing to learn because, yeah, whatever. It's just a real quick tutorial right now. We only did it one time and now we can do it again. In which case, I better keep an eye on changes in the intensity too. Here we go. Here we go now. The victim committed the purification rite by bowing to the lanterns and reading the sutra. That is correct. As the first part, the transferring rite ended, he lowered the sutra suddenly. He heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incense. Okay, there's a contradiction right there. He heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incense laden robe. It was then that the victim felt an intense pain. I believe this is when he was stabbed. As his life blood spilled over, his vision dimmed until finally he passed from our world. Wait, what? Okay, let's rewatch this real quick. The wind. Pain. As his life blood spilled over, his vision then he passed away from our world. Okay. It was then the victim felt an intense pain. I believe this is when he was stabbed. Yo, we gotta take this for a while, cause we don't know where exactly we at. Okay, the wind, hear the wind. He heard the accused approaching footsteps to smell her incense laden robe. He lowered the sutra suddenly. He heard the accused. The wind gives sort of touch. Right? Touch or hear, because he can hear the wind as well. He heard the accused approaching footsteps and smelled her incense laden robe. At the first part of the transformation, he lowered the sutra. That's what he did. That's the first part. I would say it would be this. Maybe. We can give it a shot. We'll be penalized by 1 time. We'll try this. Yeah, he heard the wind.
Objection!
Yep, we lost 1. We're down to 4. Well, I don't know what my process was, but my thought process. What is it, Maya?
I'm still trying to figure this whole insight thing out. When the words change size, that means the intensity of those sensations is changing too, right?
That's what it looks like to me.
So then, that's probably something we should keep an eye out into. In short, we should be lookout for changes that shouldn't take place, but they do anyway. And changes that don't occur when they should.
How very perceptive of you. I guess all that training sharpened Maya's mind along with her powers. Okay, let's double check.
Objection!
The victim supposedly heard the accused approaching footsteps, but did he really?
What nonsense is this? Is it not abundantly clear?
No, it's not. Because there's something strange about those footsteps.
Strange? Explain yourself, Barbhead.
The footsteps are strange because they don't get louder. They're not getting any louder.
And why exactly does that matter?
Please focus your attention on the incense the victim smelled. The scent grows stronger as the accused approaches. If the accused really had approached the victim, the sound of her footsteps would have grown louder as the scent of incense grew stronger.
Why, that makes perfect sense. How can this be explained, your benevolence?
Well, there must be a reason.
Objection!
It is as they say, even a putrid worm of a lawyer will turn. What does that even mean?
He's not exactly singing your praises, that's for sure.
Still, we cannot discount this information solely on account of its lawyer's source. Your benevolence, perhaps you must listen more carefully to the Abbot Mitama. Listen more carefully? What's he talking about?
Yes, it would appear so. I shall try to refine the sensation.
Refine the sensation?
I can more accurately gauge sensations by deepening my communication with a Mitama.
I didn't know you could do that. Why have we never done this before? By refining a sensation, a clearer picture of the truth can be discovered.
Oh, blessed Mitama, I beseech you, hear me now and respond to my call.
Bells.
Footsteps changed into bells? What could that mean?
Bells? But the only bells at the scene of the crime were...
Ah, that gentleman must have come from Inme's bells.
You mean those big things he had on the ankles? Well, there you have it. The sound of bells was the high priest's own footsteps.
Then that means...
If the footsteps belonged to the victim himself, it means it was the victim who was moving, not the accused. The victim was the one who went running toward the broken lantern from the spring. A far cry from what her benevolence inside would have us believe. Ah! Oh shit, wrong one. Let's see. X-ray floor plan updated. Got it. How many more do I need to do? There might be some edits here and there. This could be around. We're just gonna see how much we go. If I do add the scene, I'll keep it like at least an hour. But let's go.
But what would the victim have approached the accused?
Maybe he was trying to defend himself.
Please explain.
He could have felt threatened by Lady Kita standing there with a dagger. If so, he might have thought to overpower her before she attacked.
Still, your voices! This is nothing but a theory, and a poor one at that! Be not led astray by this lawyer's obvious postulation! Wow, his insolence is inexcusable. I would ask that you calm yourself, your benevolence. Is there something you would care to say, Prosecutor Sanmari? Even if it was Abbot Inme who moved, it does not negate the accused a crime.
What do you mean?
The accused was likely waiting for the high priest to approach. Ah! And as he neared, she plunged the dagger into him. It is as simple as that.
Oh, right. It really doesn't change much, does it?
Yes, and as the prosecutor has said. In fact, it is as meant I say all along as well.
Right. And that's why you were so shocked when you first heard it.
Understand now, lawyer? That contradiction you conjured up has come to naught. Once I hone my insights, it will vanish like the dying rays of the sun.
Insight revised. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off. That's all.
See? The fact that it was Inme who moved changed nothing.
Ah, come on, Phoenix. You gotta keep your cool. That contradiction I pointed out must mean something. That one sensation changed after Princess Rafa refined her vision. It stands to reason that something else might have changed too because of the refinement. I should focus on any sensations that have changed, while searching for more contradictions between them and her insights. Okay. Can we hold off this right now? Yo, we cannot. We cannot. We cannot. We cannot hold it off. We can't. Yeah, we gotta edit some parts out. As the first part of the transformation, Wright entered Lord Sotra. He rushed up an accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern. It was then the— oh, what the heck? It was then that the victim felt an intense pain. I believe this is when he was stabbed. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the broken lantern. Yeah, there was no way. So what am I supposed to press right here? Right lantern in the beginning, scene 2. Scene 2. Let's see. Option 4. Option 4, right lantern in the beginning, scene 2. Okay, let's double check. Okay, inside revise. Third statement. He rushed and tried to find a broken letter at 5th frame. Present sound. Water. After I declared this, we'll be right back. Because we're almost at 44 minutes, but there's some stuff I had to take care of. So, we'll be right back. Okay, back right now. So, where did I left off? Hold it! How do we know the purification rite was performed exactly as it was supposed to be?
That's easy. The customs governing the rite are very clear, and Abbot Inme would have adhered to them.
Well, that's strange.
Mr. Wright, would you care to explain just what is so strange?
Yes, I would ask you to consider the sound of the victim's footsteps. Oh yeah, so that's where we left off. Okay. The sound of bells changed to the sound of water at one point.
What's this?
It's simple. The victim must have stepped in some water.
Oh.
Yes. And the only source of water in the inner sanctum is the spring. And therein lies the contradiction.
What contradiction?
I believe the rite started out as it should have. The victim stood with his back to the spring and the accused stood right in front of him. But we now know the victim then moved into the spring.
That is absurd!
This means the accused's location differs from what her benevolence insight indicates.
Ah!
Then, where do you propose the accused stood once she donned Lady Kira's robe?
Based on the sound of the victim's footsteps, I believe Maya was standing here. Basically in front, no? Yo, we're down at 4. Because he was stepping back to the water. He turned his head. He's right there. She's... Wait, what? Where was Maya based on the victim's footsteps? Yo, really? I'm really just gonna answer. I'm just gonna cut it out because that guide is useless. That guide is completely useless. That guide was completely useless. It said the sanctum entrance, but that is not the entrance. We're talking about the goddamn spring here. Jesus Christ. I saw in the Wright's guide. In short, the victim should have been standing with his back to the spring and the accused in front. However, if that is how they were really standing, he couldn't have stepped into the spring as he approached her. The problem is, the victim did step into the spring. This can only mean that Miss Faye had actually been standing in the water.
But if this is true, then the positions could have been completely reversed.
Really, there's so much editing here and there. It's just really absurd right now. I'm so mad.
I'm sorry, but I barely remember anything about the Wright.
The High Priest would never make such an obvious blunder.
What on earth? Is that even possible? Be that as it may, this does not overturn my insights.
It doesn't?
Let us say the accused was standing in the spring. So what?
So what? This completely reverses their positions is what?
That their positions differed from what is customary is rather curious. However, what does that change? It certainly does not erase the accused's brutal crime.
I guess you have a point there.
You lawyers are an absurd breed.
Hey, she said absurd, not even bad. Waifu material.
Never thinking ahead, you cling to the first insignificant contradiction you can muster. Sounds like Princess Rafa has a pretty good grasp on what lawyers are all about.
Oh Maya, where would I be without your brutally frank commentary right now? Is this contradiction really meaningless? But something really doesn't feel right. Did I take a wrong turn somewhere?
I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth.
Insight revised. He rushed by the accused and tried to fight her off by the poolside lantern.
Now the contradiction is no more. But the truth of the matter still stands, no matter how stubbornly you deny it.
What do you have to say for yourself now, Mr. Wright?
Nick?
Your Majesty, this lawyer may have raised a trivial objection, but her benevolence insights have no further inadequacies of any kind.
Yes, so it would seem.
Wait a second, but there is another contradiction.
Still you flounder about, wretched beast. Though you rack the putrid brain of yours, nothing worthwhile will come of it.
Maya, please tell me you remember something that might be help us out here.
Sorry, I really don't remember a thing. But now that the place I was standing in has changed, who knows? That alone may cause a new discrepancy with Princess Rafa's insights.
That's right, we now know that Maya was standing in the spring. A major change like that could very well produce a contradiction. I should take another look at the inner sanctum diagram at the court record and confirm where Maya and Inme were standing, and then focus on finding a discrepancy between their positions and the insight. You we go again. The court record. The inner sanctum shows the freaking body. Shows the body right there where it was found. Curtain around the perimeter, outside the entrance. Diagram. This is where Maya and that's where Inme was at. The guide, a guide. A guide? What the heck? Okay, staging area, priestess, high priest. Purification is a 3-part ceremony that begins with the transformation rite. The high priest reads while the priestess does the blah blah blah. In which the priestess enters the spring dressed as Lady Kita. The high priest purifies both Lady Kita and her dagger. The ceremony ends. Okay, let's see. What do we got? He rushed off. It was then the victim felt in intense pain. His life, blah blah. Is there anything different right now? He rushed. The accused tried to fight her off by the spring side lantern. Okay, before anything else, is there anything different now? Wind, bells, water, pain. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the spring side lantern. Well, that kind of contradicts, because how does he technically fight her off? Because he's literally right there in pain. There was one. Okay, what else is there? Right lantern in the beginning too. Okay, next one. At second frame. At the first part of the transformation rite ended, he lowered the suture suddenly. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the spring side lantern. Inside revise. Oh, I was reading it wrong. Jesus Christ. That's why. Third statement, alright. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off in the pull side lantern at fourth frame. At the fourth frame. Present side lantern while the wind is visible. Select sight.
Objection!
Your benevolence! I found a new contradiction!
You did? No doubt it is but another of your vile attempts to slander my insights.
Nope. Take a good look at the victim you saw. It just might change your mind. The lantern flame behind the accused was flickering.
There is nothing unusual about that, especially as the wind had stirred.
No, that's where you're wrong. If the accused had been standing in the spring, then what do you see here should be one of the lanterns flanking the statue.
I fail to see your point.
My point is, something is wrong here. The two lanterns flanking the statue were both outfitted with glass wind guards. So neither lantern's flames should have been flickering in the wind in the first place.
Heh. She seems pretty tickled, Nick.
I don't remember saying anything funny.
I fail to see what you wish to prove here, but... Very well. I shall refine the vision and reveal the truth for all to see. Oh blessed Minimum, beseech you, fix your sight upon the lantern there.
Huh? That lantern doesn't have a wind guard on it.
And rightly so. For the wind guard was removed to reveal the sacred flame within for the rite of fire. Therefore, there is nothing odd about the flame flickering.
Say what? But when we searched the crime scene, those lanterns had their wind guards on.
That's because the police put them back on. The sacred flames have burned uninterrupted for hundreds of years, Defense. We could not risk them being extinguished, even during an investigation.
That would never fly back home.
Well, Barbhead, are you done quibbling? If so, then it's time to bow down before the testimony of the Minima. Nick!
Don't worry, Maya. I'm just getting started. Alright, let's go over everything we know so far. Maya was wearing Lady Kita's robes and standing in the spring. The High Priest is thought to have been moving toward her. So I should look for sensations that stand in contradiction to this argument. I won't give up. I'm going to find a contradiction that will undermine the accusation against Maya. Oh great, more of this. It was updated, right? Wind. Pain. As the first part of the transformation rite ended, he lowered the suture suddenly. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off by the spring-side lantern. It was then the victim felt pain, intense pain. I believe this is when he was stabbed. As light spread over, his vision dim. Alright, let's see. What else is it? After that, we got this. First option. Third statement. Second frame. No, third statement. Second frame. He rushed the accused and tried to fight her off. At second frame, press present sight. Lantern the one on the right when he turns right. Huh? He rushed. Second.
Objection!
What would this possibly mean? The lantern clearly contradicts the insight, but this contradiction will overturn the entire case I've been building.
Are you alright, Mr. Wright? 1 minute you shout out and the next you fall silent.
Perhaps it is like the bellow of one who barreling down a hill with no way of stopping. Is that not right, Prosecutor Samadi?
Don't get cold feet now, Phoenix. Even if this overturns the entire case you built so far, the only way is to keep moving forward, because that's where we'll find the truth. Sorry, but I'm not barreling down a hill. In fact, I'm in full control of everything with the indisputable contradiction I found.
Is that so?
The lantern behind the accused clearly, no, blatantly contradicts your insight.
Does it now?
One of the lanterns on the entrance side of the inner sanctum was broken. And if you watch that Inme saw in his final moments, I can't even tell. You will notice that the lantern behind the praying form of Miss Faye is broken. I didn't even notice. The lantern behind Lady Kita, however, is still intact. In short, we are seeing two different lanterns in the seance vision.
How could this be? And even if it was so, how would that contradict my insight?
Let me start by saying the claim I'm about to raise will overturn the case I've built thus far.
Will the defense please explain himself?
Based on the broken lantern, we can tell Maya and Inme's positions, where the accused and the victim were standing.
But did you not just finish asserting that the accused was staying somewhere else?
I did, and I built my argument on that faulty premise. But thankfully, it has led us here, to the actual spot where Maya Face was standing.
I must say, if the defense keeps changing its assertion in such capricious manner, its credibility may come in question.
I'm willing to take that risk, Your Majesty, because I believe this will be the last time. I'd like to start by pointing out the actual spot where the accused was standing.
Very well. Show us where you now believe the accused was actually standing.
Okay, where is it? Highlight between broken lantern and bottom right. Bottom middle. Now, please tell me it's this one. If not, we're losing that strike now. Broken lantern, lantern. Between broken lantern and bottom right lantern. This does not get me anywhere. That's BS. I wasn't thinking straight before, but now it's all falling into place. We know the victim had stepped into the spring. That means Maya Fei had to have been standing in the water as he approached. However, his memory, which was only now become clear, reveals that Miss Fei was standing by the side of the broken lantern. In other words, she was standing where she was supposed to be according to custom. Hold it. Does that not bring us to the very beginning? No. This is where things take a different turn, and I mean that literally. The victim had to have been moving toward the spring. That means that while he was moving, he had his back turned toward the accused.
What's this? Do you say the victim turned around during the rite? But such an image appears nowhere in the seance vision.
Actually, it does appear. It's just that no one noticed it until now.
No one noticed? How could no one have noticed something so big?
There was a moment when the scripture the victim was holding was all we could see. Thanks to that, none of us could tell that he was in fact turning around in the moment.
Objection.
If it is as the defense asserts that her benevolence insights no longer make sense, how do you intend to explain that?
Objection.
I don't need to explain anything, because it's just as you said, Prosecutor Sanmari. Her benevolence insights don't make any sense because they contain a huge error.
Such insolence!
A huge error, you say? Do explain.
The huge error is... I don't know which one, we're down to freaking whatever. Third option, the number of people there. I believe this is what happened at the scene of the crime. The victim was reading a sutra when he suddenly sensed someone behind him. He immediately looked back to see someone dressed as Lady Kira sitting there. Wishing to see who it was, he approached to the robed figure. That's when he was stabbed.
This cannot be!
Oh, but it can, and if it is, the insight stating the accused stabbed the victim is wrong. And that is the real truth lying behind this testimony of the dead. Pokukana. Whatever. Hey, I was right. Pokuka. Nah.
Are you suggesting that there was someone else at the scene of the crime?
Have I misunderstood the voice of the Mitama yet again? This cannot be!
There she goes again. Whew, that was a close one. I managed to divine the true meaning behind the Seance vision somehow. I should add these new facts to the court record.
Your benevolence, please allow me to take it from here. I will overturn the brash accusation of this faithless, putrid-minded lawyer. Yes, I shall place my trust in you.
Well, she's gone. Bye-bye.
Are you sure about this, Prosecutor Sadmati?
My work as an international prosecutor has taken me to courtrooms around the world. And in that time, I have learned to perform last rites for souls in trials lacking a seance.
Yes, of course. Forgive my ludicrous inquiry.
Moreover, I have with me a forensic investigator from overseas. I will show you all the most magnificent last rites ever seen.
I guess he really does think highly of Emma, and her forensic expertise. I'm impressed that he's come to understand their value. Then again, he is an international prosecutor who solved tough cases around the world. Time to hunker down, huh?
Now then, let us continue with today's proceedings. Could the defense please tell us who the third party dressed as Lady Kita was? Your new claim has negated the incense of the royal priestess, so I trust you have some evidence to support it, correct?
Yes, of course. This third party must really wanted to kill a high priest. I might be able to identify who it was.
Well, we're waiting, Mr. Wright.
The evidence that can reveal the identity of the third party is this. What's next? Okay, present that, huh? We have to present this.
Take that!
3 days before the purification rite, the victim received a warning letter from an identified individual.
He did?
Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the high priest. The letter said, "Do not perform the rite." But the rite went as scheduled. I believe that is why the high priest was murdered.
Who do you suppose sent that letter?
A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kita herself.
Peace! I don't understand. I had heard the Lady Kita that has been in the news of late only hunted rebels. If so, why would she have killed the high priest?
Excellent question. Maybe it would help to think of this way. What if the high priest had secretly been a rebel?
The high priest, a devout follower of Khura'ism, a rebel? Do you even comprehend the blasphemy of which you speak? Well, do you?
I too found it hard to believe at first. But as I continue my investigation, it starts to become more and more plausible.
Objection.
The third party was the rebel hunting Lady Kita, and the high priest was a rebel? Your mockery of Khura'ism. No. The kingdom of Khura'in itself knows no bounds. Oops.
That shameless Pokemon lawyer. He's making mockery of the religion.
As a faithful Khura'inist, I take issue with the claims, and I am loath to admit them into today's proceedings.
I don't like where this is going.
The defense claims are but vile blasphemy, tantamount to spitting on the Holy Mother. Is it really that big of a deal, Maya? Inme was a distinguished monk, and very well respected too, so yeah.
Please don't let this turn into an international incident.
But fear not, good people of Khura'in. The rantings of this putrid brain lawyer who seeks to sully the soul of the seas shall come to no avail once I conclude these last rites. The prosecution assertion the accused killed the victim remains unchanged.
But the victim was stabbed in his abdomen. How is that possible when he had his back toward Maya? Someone else must have killed him.
Objection.
Are you sure about that? You may have invalidated the seance, but do not let it go to your putrid head. The karmic flow of this trial is yet still in my hands. How can you be so confident? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations for a third party are but a deluded fantasy. And I shall prove that by calling a new witness to the stand. An eyewitness who will deliver a definitive answer that will dispel the defense's doubts. An eyewitness?
Very well, let us call this eyewitness to the stand.
And with that, we'll be ending up today's episode right here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that like button encourages performance. If you're new, if you don't like to see, click subscribe button. This is Rockets X TV, and I'm signing out.